I want to begin this week with another weekly shout out, and I think I'm going to repeat someone here that I would like to just compliment on the way you continue to navigate this, and that's you, the students. The way you are going all in on this, the way you are participating, the way you are cooperating is making it easy for those of us that are managing activities and events to continue to manage them in the way you hear Smitty say at the Plex almost on a nightly basis. If you guys could help us by following guidelines and protocol, we'll be able to continue to do these events all the way through this fall. And it's true. You guys have been amazing. And I know there's no way to do this perfectly, right? But you guys have done an amazing job. Now here into I'm doing what I'm not supposed to do on a video, but we're in our 4th week of classes. And I just want to say thank you for the ways that you're cooperating. I've heard comments that you've made, like you don't want to go home. I get it. But I've also heard your parents say that they don't want you to come home either. So they want you here, you want to be here, and we want you here. And I just want to say thanks for the ways that you've worked to make that possible. Hey, this week I want to talk to you about things that we miss, that are around us all the time. Every day, most mornings when I leave my subdivision to pull out, there will be a hawk that'll be sitting on a lamppost. And I like to play with the hawk. My wife actually has named the hawk. I don't know how she does that. I don't know how she can tell them apart because I can't. But so I'll pull up underneath the light post and look through my moonroof right directly up at the hawk and catch eye contact with the hawk. It's a pretty cool moment actually to realize that I'm sitting there looking up at a light post and a hawk's looking down at me. Now maybe you think I'm ridiculous, but to me, it's really cool. And I think it's symbolic of the ways that we are surrounded all around us by things that we could miss if we just don't look and if we just don't pay attention. Last week I was walking across campus and there was a squirrel, shock, right? A squirrel on campus. But a squirrel crossed my path on the sidewalk right outside of Williams Hall. So I stopped and I looked at it and I chirped at it a couple times. And the thing looked at me and it wasn't 2 feet away from where I was, eating a nut that it had picked up off the sidewalk. And I didn't move and it didn't move and it looked at me and it wasn't afraid of me at all. And I chirped at it some more and it almost, to me, seemed like the thing, it started moving towards me and I stopped because I was afraid it was going to run right at my pant leg. But we see squirrels all over campus all the time, right? But that time I stopped and I had a moment, I made a memory. So I'm sharing the memory with you. But I also know that there are times when we have beautiful sunsets around here. Yes, around here. The colors are amazing, the pinks and the orange and red hues. But you have to be someplace where you can see them. You have to be outside. You have to look for them. You have to be in the right place at the right time to see the sunset. I remember the first time, the only time actually, my wife and I were invited to go on a trip to Newfoundland. And it was in June. And we went there to go whale watching. And we saw whales and puffins. And there were scenes all around us and sights all around us. And we were oohing and ahhing around every corner. And the gal who we were there to visit was just like ho-humming everything. Everything was new to us. And it was just exciting for us to see everything. And you know, the deer crossing signs that we have here in the US up there, they're moose crossing signs. And we kept looking for moose. And it was just cool to experience new sights and new sounds that we don't always see around here. Well, it was about 2 weeks ago now that I had my first trip here to the Indian Caves. I'd heard about the Indian Caves. I mean, I never knew what they were. I never knew what they were all about. I ride my bike by here 2 to 3 times a week and it never stopped. I saw the water running, making the pool at the bottom, which isn't always the cleanest pool, right? But this behind me, 2 weeks ago to experience this with my grandsons was amazing. How many other things like that? How many amazing things are around us that we miss because we're not looking or we're not listening? We're talking about the 13th chapter of Matthew, and I'm going to speak about these verses later this semester, but I kind of want to start from the middle of the chapter and move out. there's these two short parables, one about yeast and one about mustard seed, where Jesus is talking about what the kingdom of God is like, right? That's kind of the journey that we're on this semester. And Jesus says the kingdom of God is like yeast that's hidden in dough, or like a mustard seed that Jesus says is one of the smallest seeds. Now, for the botanists that are watching this, I know the mustard seed is actually not literally one of the smallest, but the point is it's a small, small seed. And Jesus said, out of this small seed comes this bush that birds of the air will all gather in. Yeast, hidden in dough. A mustard seed that looks small and insignificant, that creates a bush that birds then nest and gather in. I think what Jesus is saying is what I've been trying to talk about, the experiences that I've had in my life. Jesus is saying the same thing. When you can't see what God is up to, He's at work. Just like yeast that's hidden in the dough. You don't ever have to wonder whether God is up to something. And the mustard seed that turns into a bush that birds of the air land and nest in, that seems small and insignificant, that you can stomp on and step on and grind into the dirt. It's the little, small things that we think are insignificant that matter and make a difference to the kingdom. The small is important. The hidden is a sign that God is at work among us. God seeks to restore and redeem, and He does it out of chaos. I think it's God's favorite thing to do, to bring redemption and restoration to us and to His world. Man, you talk about a chaotic moment for us. You talk about a chaotic spot for us to be stuck in. For the last 6 months, COVID, for the last 3 months, the social unrest that really was sparked by the murder of George Floyd, but has been around for a lot longer. Talk about chaos. And yet, like yeast in the dough, listen to me, God is at work to redeem and restore the chaotic moment that to us it may feel totally out of control, our control. But God is at work just like yeast that's hidden in the dough. And the small things that we participate in small ways, at least we call them small, listen, they matter. Every little thing we do matters. I don't want to miss a squirrel crossing my path. I'm ashamed that I haven't seen this. It took me as many years as I went to school here. These things were here when I was in school. Why did it take me so long? I don't know. But listen to me, just like I could have missed this, just like I could have missed an opportunity with the squirrel or riding on a bike path, a fawn that was right off the bike path, 3 feet from me. I stopped and I looked. I didn't have to, but because I did, those moments are forever etched in my mind. God is just like that. Sure, sometimes we don't see what He's doing. Sure, sometimes it seems like He's working in ways that are hidden to us, but He is at work. And what seems small to the kingdom is not small at all. Listen to me. Jesus said that, I want to read this passage from Matthew, that you will look and listen but not understand. You will look and look but not see. The people's heart has gone flabby and fat. Their ears are muffled and dull. Their eyes are darkened and shut, in order that they won't see with their eyes or hear with their ears or know in their heart or turn back again for me to restore them. I already talked to you about what the passage was about, but here's the thing. Here's the thing that we have to realize. We always think that's Jesus talking about them. The danger is, it could be me. I could miss it too. Listen, here's our prayer as we continue to walk through the semester. May God give us eyes to see and ears to hear the ways He's at work in the hidden and the small, which are bubbling and stirring and significant when used for the kingdom. Grace and peace.